Hi everybody, I'm Robin Warner and I am driving a 2022 Toyota Tundra. And I am driving a 1794 edition 2022 Toyota Tundra. This video is a little bit atypical compared to what I usually do because I'm going to be bouncing in and out of multiple different Toyota Tundra trucks and showing you different features in those trucks. I'm going to be in a Limited, I'm going to be in a Platinum, and I'm going to be in this. I have a couple features to show you about how this truck tows. I have a couple experts join me to talk about different features both inside and outside of the truck. And I'll give you a couple of opinions about the truck myself. So there's going to be a lot of bouncing around to get to all the information, but I'm going to do the best I can to get you as much information as I can. There are 6 trims of Toyota Tundra, and I'm going to try to give you some of the basics on all 6 trims and go a little bit more in depth in the trims I get to drive. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video, and here we go. Well, here it is, the 3rd generation 2022 Toyota Tundra. And this one specifically is the 1794 edition Tundra, painted in smoked mesquite paint. And it's basically a platinum level Tundra with its own unique look. Part of that unique look are these different 20-inch wheels right there, a little bit shinier, as well as this chromed out front grille right here, which is not at all subtle. And if you forget, it is in fact a Tundra. I think the smoked mesquite paint looks good on this truck. I like the chrome. I think it balances that well. And I do like these full LED headlights right here. And if you look at the truck in profile, you know, pretty traditional shape. This is a Crew Max pickup truck with the 5.5-foot bed. So a little bit more of the traditional big body with the shorter bed kind of styling. I do like how Toyota put their emblem right on top of the exhaust tip right there. I think that's a nice touch. And I like a lot of the features you get. For example, when you open the tailgate, it's a little solenoid click, and then it's got these gas struts to give you the soft opening of it, as well as this step that automatically comes out, pebble not included, so it makes it easy to step onto. I am stepping onto a composite bed that I showed you in my previous video. So this is basically, it's a plastic bed with aluminum cross members underneath it, and the purpose of doing this is to make the bed more corrosion resistant, dent resistant, and scratch resistant. You do get the typical hooks and things you need to set things up, as well as a flat surface if you want to mount a board or anything like that. And you get another one right here, and then you can also put things in vertically. You also get this 400 watt 120 volt AC plug. That's nice. And you also get a tailgate that says Tundra right there. You also have another camera right here for your backup lighting and trailering and those kinds of things. And again, if you forget, it says Tundra right there. Down there you can see your trailer hitch. Now this particular trimmed Tundra can tow 10,890 pounds and has a payload capacity of 1,575 pounds. Payload is tied to GVW of this truck, and GVW does not change with the trim. So how heavy the trim is what dictates how much payload capacity you've got. Anyway, let's take a look inside. All right, starting in the back, this being a Crew Max, we've got loads of space. And we've also got these electric running boards to step onto for easy entry. Okay, before we even get in, look how much leg room I have here. Hopping in, of course I got plenty of leg room. I've got like a foot of knee room right here. The seat bottoms are plenty high, so I have good thigh support. I also have heated seats, don't want them now, cooled seats for both the 2 ends, and we have different charging options as well, USB, USB-C, and then an AC plug as well. If you're not carrying 5 people, check it out, cup holders, but also more cup holders. So plenty spacious back here. Also, this is a nice feature to have. Rear shade. And if I could look up here, you can see that we have a big panoramic roof as well. All right, Moving to the front, pretty typical features you get in the front seat of modern cars. Powered windows, powered locks, side view mirror adjust. Here's folding mirrors, and you can make it automatic or not. 2-position seat memory. Up front, you do have fore, aft, seat back, and lumbar support right here. Over here, we have a lot of controls, different lighting controls, heated steering wheel. We want that off right now. We're in Texas, for heaven's sakes. And then also options for the AC plug. This being a 1794, we do have the fully digital instrument cluster right here, which of course gives you more options of what exactly you're looking at. And we also have this 14-inch center console screen with a whole lot of options. And as opposed to just going over those things myself and missing a ton of stuff, I got another expert in to tell me more about it. Let me show you that right now.
Hey Toyota, I would like to get coffee.
I found 6 results along your route.
You do have dual zone climate control and a lot of options down here. And again, heated seats, cooled seats. Don't forget about the heated steering wheel over here. And various HVAC controls. There's another USB port down here. Trailer access, different camera views, stability control, hazard lights, and on and on and on. You do have Qi wireless charging right there and an electric parking brake. Do have drive modes, several drive modes, and I'll show you a little bit more detail about that later, as well as 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low for the 4-wheel drive system. You do get a big old lower center console storage here, and you can access things right here, and there's more charging down below there and there. What's under here? Why, cup holders, of course, with a key fob. So yes, you have space for that. Looking up, here's the access to your panoramic moonroof. Move that back, that reveals the privacy panel so you can see all the glass. And you can move the roof itself right there. Oh, and of course, we do have heads-up display as well. Moving beyond the technology of this car, this is just a real nice leather upholstery. They call it saddle tan, and part of it is you get these real wood finishes here covering the cup holders, part of this console right here, and along the trim right here. And at the end, it says 1794 edition, in case you forget. It's, you know, a generally lovely, rugged place to be. And it's, I think, a pretty darn decent marriage of technology and just old school style. It's time to go for a drive. Hi everybody. Well, here I am in the 2022 Toyota Tundra. Now this specific one is a limited with the double cab and 6.5-foot bed. And I'm currently driving it on the freeway, getting some initial impressions. And the initial impressions are pretty darn positive. We're in a truck. We have this big amount of air to push out of the way, and yet it feels pretty darn refined. There is some wind noise, but it is reasonably well isolated. Road noise is better isolated than I expected, and it's a pretty comfortable ride. I mean, it's very soft, very easy to absorb all the bumps, and the power is totally fine so far. The V6 is just humming along in the background, not at all an issue. But if you need to accelerate, you've got a 10-speed transmission and 389 horsepower. Yeah, really not bad. Really not bad at all. So far, this is a nice truck to be in. If you just need to accumulate miles on the highway, you can do so quite comfortably in here. Now I am driving a 2022 Toyota Tundra Platinum, and this one is a Crew Max body with a 6.5-foot bed. So this is a very, very long truck, but it rides very nicely. Toyota did a really good job. They put a lot of work into that rear suspension. You know, double wishbones up front, that's a pretty common thing to do up front, but to have all that effort put into the rear suspension, have that panhard bar and some other mounting points to give it a stronger positioning, also going with coil springs and having the dampers outside of the frame rails, really helps give this a nice, pleasant ride. I haven't played much with this 14-inch screen, but I can tell you that it is easy to look at, high definition, good coloring, and the instrument cluster in the Platinum is also fully digital, and it's also easy to see and read. But one big thing about this truck is that we have lost any V8, which means it is a turbocharged V6, a twin turbocharged V6. Despite that, horsepower is up and torque is up. We are now at 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. And so far I can tell you that the V6 operates really nicely, runs smoothly, it's quiet, it's more or less in the background, but of course we got to know how fast it is. And I found a nice little chunk of road to see how fast it is, so I'm going to show you that right now. Briefly slowing down. Go ahead and give it a bit of brake torque, and off we go. Oh yeah. Well, we're in two-wheel drive mode, and there's plenty of power to overwhelm the rear axle. Yeah, and it sounds nice as V6s go. It's on the throaty side. It has a good muscular tone, and yeah, feels quick. I am properly impressed with that. There's still a lot about the Tundra that isn't yet known. We only have estimated fuel economy, and we don't yet have pricing. And of course, pricing is a very, very big component of the success of this truck. But in terms of just pure feel, in terms of how this car rides and drives, and how comfortable the seats are and how much space it offers, just from a pure driving point of view, this is a nice truck to drive, and I like it a lot. And this is kind of like a Platinum level truck, but with kind of its own flair, its own style. You know, you've got this wood grain as part of the trim. You've got specific interior colors that have more of that like natural rawhide kind of look to it. But it carries the same general features as a Platinum, and as all trucks, it has the twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6 with 389 horsepower. As far as the turbo V6 goes, look, we've been downsizing engines across the industry for years now, and the fact that trucks are going the same route is really no different than any other car. Trucks have the same needs as any other car in terms of light loads, heavy loads, but trucks also have the same new demands on them, such as fuel economy and emissions, and downsizing only helps those causes, right? And the fact that people are concerned about the long-term viability of a V6 over a V8, especially if you're towing, I think the critical thing to think about is the temperature that the engine reaches. If it reaches really high temperatures, that can cause complications. But Toyota put a lot of effort into keeping the engine and the transmission cool, so I think the fact that it's a smaller displacement turbocharged V6 is irrelevant. I don't think you have anything to worry about. And of course, just like any good truck, the new Tundra has drive modes, several drive modes. In fact, we've got Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. And what's nice about what Toyota does here is not only does it give you these different drive modes, it gives you little graphics to show you what's adjusted when you switch to different drive modes. And with Sport and Sport Plus, not only do you get an engine recalibration, transmission behaves a little bit differently, but the shocks firm up and the steering gets a little bit heavier as well. So a nice trick, and that's in Sport Plus mode that those things happen. So it's nice to have that little graphic to show you what you're changing as you're changing drive modes. And when you're in Sport Plus, this thing does properly firm up. I was on the interstate in a limited edition version of this truck, and it did seem a little soft and floaty. But when you're in Sport Plus, it firms right up. The steering is still a little bit on the light side, but heavier, and it's easier to get a feel of what this truck is doing in the corners. I think the best way to describe it is it's completely competent, and it doesn't feel underdamped or floaty. in a lot of ways, this Tundra really does deliver a great driving experience in the context of being a full-size truck. You have a much stiffer, stronger, more firm feeling chassis underneath you. Having a fully box frame certainly helps that. You have good steering feel considering the size of vehicle this is. Nice handling, having that more robustly mounted rigid rear axle makes a big difference. Having that panhard bar and the double trailing arms, those things, all that helps a lot to make this a really nice truck to drive. The kind of features you have here, the different options you have in terms of trailering, the way that you can use the driver assist systems to help you back the trailer up, make it real easy to line the trailer up when you're trying to hook it up in the first place. Then of course you also have Toyota Safety Sense 2.5, which gives you that whole list of driver assist features, as well as several airbags and all those things to help you feel safe in the car. And you can choose between the double cab, which is honestly reasonably spacious, or the Crew Max, which is very spacious. And you have a lot of options to carry friends or family around as well. The biggest issue that Toyota is still going to have is brand loyalty. That's just the type of thing where you're either a Ford guy or a Chevy guy. You don't hear a lot of people saying, no, I'm a Toyota guy. But, you know, maybe this is the beginning of that changing. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching. And if you are still watching, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe to my channel. Those types of things really do help me out a lot. Okay, goodbye.